Once, Chapter 10. Once I was living in a cellar in a Nazi city with 7 other kids when I shouldn't have been. My fever has gone. I shouldn't be lying in bed. I should be out looking for Mum and Dad. Felix, says Zelda, jumping on my sack. Wake up. It's time to wake up. Are you awake? Yes, I say. I am now. You have to get up, says Zelda. You have to tell us a story. I don't reply. You have to, insists Zelda. Barney says I'm not allowed to anymore. He said I started too many arguments. He's wrong, but that's what he said. I get up. I'm desperate to pee. While I was sick, Barney had let me pee in a bottle, but he must have taken it. Where's the toilet, I say. Zelda points. Through the gloom of the cellar, I can just make out some wooden steps going up to one corner. Behind the steps is a bucket. I stagger over to it. It's half full and stinks, but I'm desperate. While I go, Zelda comes and watches. I want to turn away, but I don't. Orphans deserve a bit of fun. Hurry up, says Zelda. We're bored. We want a story. When I've finished, I look around the cellar, but I can't see the others. There are needles of light pricking through the gloom, and I can see several sack beds, but no Barney and no other kids. Where's Barney, I say. He's out getting us food, says Zelda. Where are the other kids, I say. Zelda doesn't reply. I can see that she's trying not to giggle, and trying not to look at a big, untidy pile of coats in the middle of the cellar floor. The pile of coats seems to be giggling, too. Suddenly, the coats fly up into the air. Huddled on the floor in a circle are the other kids, hands over their mouths, laughing themselves silly. Well, most of them are. The wood-chewing boy is just chewing his wood. I'm not sure what's going on. It's a tent, says Zelda. A story tent. Don't you know anything? The kids are all laughing at me now. Suddenly I feel cross. I want to yell at them. Don't you know anything? Our parents are out there in a dangerous Nazi city. The Nazis are shooting people. They could be shooting our parents. A story isn't going to help. But I don't. It's not their fault. They don't understand what it feels like when you've put your mom and dad in terrible danger. When the only reason they couldn't get a visa to go to America is because when you were 6, you asked the man at the visa desk if the red blotches on his face were from sticking his head into a dragon's mouth. Story, says little Henrik, clapping his hands. The others are looking at me hopefully. Sorry, I say. I haven't got time for a story right now. I have to go out. You can't, says Zelda. We're not allowed to. I ignore her. I look for the exit. The cellar has stone walls and a stone floor and no windows. The ceiling is made of wooden planks. The long needles of daylight are coming in through the gaps between them. Up there must be a way out. I climb the steps. At the top of a square door is the ceiling planks. The bolt is pulled back. I push the door, but it won't open. It's locked on the other side, says the older girl with the bandaged arm. Barney locks it. I thump the door in frustration. Shh, say most of the kids. We have to be quiet, says Zelda. We're hiding. Who from? I say as I come down the steps. As soon as I say it, I remember the Nazis putting kids into trucks, and I know it's a stupid question. Adolf Hitler doesn't like Jewish kids, says the girl with the curly hair. Adolf Hitler, I say, surprised. Father Ludwig says Adolf Hitler is a great man. He's in charge of Poland. He's the prime minister, king or something. Zelda gives me a look. Adolf Hitler, she says, is the boss of the Nazis. Don't you know anything? I stare at her. It's true, says the blinking boy, blinking harder than ever. I stare at all the kids who are nodding. If they're right, this is incredible. I wonder if Father Ludwig has heard about this. That's why we have to hide, says the girl with the bandaged arm. All the other Jewish kids around here have been taken away by the Nazis. Adolf Hitler's orders, and they never come back. The only kids left are the ones hiding like us. Can we get on with the story now, says Zelda. I sit on the floor with them, my thoughts in a daze. Suddenly I'm thinking about another story. The one Mum and Dad told me about why I had to stay in the orphanage. They said it was so I could go to the school there while they traveled to fix up their business. They told it so well, that story. I believed it for 3 years and 8 months. That story saved my life. Zelda and the others are dragging the coats over their heads and making a tent. Tell us another story about the boy in the castle, says Henrik. His name's William, says Zelda. Shh, says the girl with curly hair. She's brushing it with a hairbrush over and over, which looks pretty painful. She smiles at me. Let Felix tell us. I try to think of something to tell them, something to take our minds off our worries, something to make us forget the most important man in the world, whole of Poland, hates us and our parents and our books. One morning, I say, William wakes up in his castle. In his breakfast soup, he finds a magic carrot. A magic carrot, interrupts Zelda. That means he gets 3 wishes. It doesn't have to be 3 wishes, says the blinking boy. It could just be 1 wish. It's 3, says Zelda indignantly, if he holds the carrot right. I sigh. I'm not in a story mood. My brain is buzzing with too many other things. Look, I say, let's not have another fight. Why doesn't everyone just take in turns and say what they'd wish for if they had a magic carrot? I'd wish for my mummy and daddy, says Zelda, 3 times. Apart from our parents, says the girl with the bandaged arm. Everyone frowns and thinks hard. Tidy hair, says the girl with curly hair still brushing nonstop. Your hair is tidy, Ruth, said the girl with the bandaged arm. You've got lovely hair. Ruth gives a little smile but carries on brushing. What about you, Jacob, says the girl with the bandaged arm looking at the blinking boy. Jacob blinks hard. My dog, he says. Me too, says Henrik, and my grandma's dog. The girl with the bandaged arm gives the toddler a cuddle. What about you, Yannick? Carrot, says the toddler. Everyone laughs. I'd wish to be alive, says the girl with the bandaged arm. Everyone laughs again, except me and the wood-chewing boy. I don't get it. Her name's Chaya, says Ruth, still brushing. It means alive in Hebrew. Your turn, says Chaya to me. I can't think of anything except for Mum and Dad, and wishing Zelda's parents were still alive. But I can't say that either. I signal to the wood-chewing boy to have his go. He doesn't reply. He doesn't even look at me. He just keeps on chewing the end piece of the wood in his hands. You'd like to go to the rest of your house, eh, Moshe? Says Chaya gently. Moshe nods as he chews, not looking up. Come on, Felix, says Zelda. You have to use your turn. Use your imagination. I wait for my imagination to come up with something. Anything. It doesn't. All I can think of is that if Adolf Hitler hates Jewish kids, perhaps God and Jesus and the Virgin Mary and the Pope do too. He's not going to tell us, says Ruth. Come on, says Henrik, let's have a lice hunt. The kids throw their coats off and go and sit in the needles of daylight and searching through each other's hair and clothes, all except Zelda. You're mean, she says to me. Sorry, I say. I flop down on my bed. My imagination doesn't want to be bothered with stories, not now. All it wants to do is plan how I'm going to get out of this place and find Mum and Dad before Adolf Hitler's Nazis kill them.